Thorne's Beehives are available in the flat pack form, and today I'm going to show you how to put a super together, which is where the SM1 frames are kept, which is where the bees store their honey. In your pack you should have 2 outside walls with rebates for the inside walls and the locking bar notches, 2 metal castellated spacers, which is where the ends of your SM1 frames will sit, 2 plastic runners which tack onto the inside walls, around about 8 to 10 brass pins to tack the plastic runners on. You should also have some 1.5" lost head nails and some 2" lost head nails in your pack. The inside walls, as mentioned earlier, and you should also have 2 pairs of locking bars. 1 pair has a rebate on and 1 pair has a bevel on the edge. The first job when assembling a super is to take your plastic runners and your inside walls. Now your inside walls have got a groove along the inside, which is where your castellated spacer goes. These plastic runners, you take one, you lay it down the inside wall, and it's very important that you leave the thick end to the top because that's where the nails go. This is a rather tricky bit. You take your plastic runner and your first nail, just tack it in. Now there should be an 1/8 gap either side of your runner, so the inside wall should actually be longer than the runner itself, and you're supposed to equal it out so it's equal distance either side, and then you're ready to tack your first one in. Pull it nice and tight onto the inside wall. So again, and tack it in, and you've got those 2 there, so you want to be equal distance either side. Tack it in, again pull it in, and third and final nail, so around about there. That's your first inside wall complete. As you can see, thick side on the inside obviously, thin side on the outside, and this is where we repeat the process again. The next job is to take your outside walls with the grooves and you take your marking gauge. Now your marking gauge needs to be set at 7/16, which is 1.11 centimetres, and you take the edge that you want to be your top and you do it from this edge here to the rebate. You can also do it the old-fashioned way and measure it. I'm measuring 7/16. You can do that with a pen. I'm using a punch. The next stage is the important stage of assembling the inside walls and joining them to the outside wall. Do use a strong wood glue. You can get the same one that we use in the workshop, either from the Thorne shop itself or online. You get your outside wall and you don't go above the notch that we've just made earlier, but you just smear a bit of glue into the rebate there, and the same with this one, usually to about the bottom of the notches so it doesn't go any further. And we're going to tack it onto the right hand side rebate. So this is where you have to be careful because the top of the plastic runner, which is here, has to be level or slightly below the mark that we made earlier. And a nice little bit of persuasion, try and push it in. Now don't worry if it doesn't quite get it, obviously you can probably see there I've gone slightly over, and just tap it so it just fits nice and snug. Get the second wall on the left hand side and again line it up. It can be quite tricky. Now you've got these 2 walls assembled upright, you take your glue and you just trickle a little bit onto the side there, and you do the same on the left hand side. So you take your second outside wall, make sure the notch is to the top, then take your mallet and a spare block of wood and just give it a quick little tap, and the same on the other side. You take one of your bevel locking bars, as you can see the bevel is like that, and you slide it into the notch like so, and the bevel is on the inside. It should squeeze in just like that. It should just snap nicely into place there. You take your other two locking bars. These are the rebated ones. These are flat on the side, and the rebate is the rebate that goes to the top, like so. And again, just slide it in very easily, like so. Push it nice together. And then we do the same on the opposite side. Just push it in. But that's what it should look like. Your bevel on your bottom and your flat on the top. You should have plastic runners level or slightly below the 7/16 marks. This is where you start to put the nails in. So you need your 2-inch lost head nails. You start at the bottom and you get the super level. You place a nail down and slightly to the right of your left locking bar joint so you don't split it out. Ever such a slight angle, but it's not got to be too close to the actual locking bar joint itself, because then you risk splitting the wood. Slight angle. And then you repeat the process. It's very important just to check that your plastic runners are still below the marks. So as you can see, the marks match up. And then just to tack it down a little bit more, we'll do a nail between the two as well. Once you've done that, you're then ready to move on to nailing your locking bars in place. And obviously your nails go into these tenons that you can see on the side, of which there's 4 of them. But we put it in off centre. Very important that you get your block of wood. You just blunt the end of the nail by giving it a couple of little taps on the end, just to make sure it doesn't split the wood. And there's 4 of these to do. After you've nailed the first side in, we get a punch, and we just punch these below the surface. Before you do the same on the other side, make sure it's all square. And as you can see, there's a very, very slight gap to that, which means it's ever so slightly out of square. We'll just get it on the corner like that. Just give it a little bit of a tweak. Again, excellent. One set square, pushed against there. One very nice square super body. Now the next thing to do, 1.5 inch lost heads that you should have in your pack. Insert 1, so you need 4, 1 into the top of each of these, and hopefully they should run smack bang in the middle. And then we do the same on the opposite side. Now we're going to knock some nails on the inside walls to keep these locking bars from bowing outwards, to keep them nice and flush to the inside wall. And what we tend to do is we tend to keep these level with the brass nails that are on the runners, just to keep them all nice and uniform. The only ones we sometimes don't do level with the pins are these 2 at the end. Otherwise, they will hit this nail here. So we tend to put those a fraction slightly further in. Give it about 1 inch or a couple of centimetres. And you gradually just work your way along. And we do the same again for the bottom locking bar. Keeps them nice and tidy. And then you repeat the process exactly the same on the other one. You need your castellated spacers that we mentioned earlier, which are these lovely little things here. We are checking that the nails haven't come through this gap when we were putting them through the locking bar. And how we do that is, we take the castellated spacer, we insert it like so, and then we run it up the top Now there is actually a nail in this top corner that has actually come through. This top needs to be below the surface here, and any nail that gets through it can cause it to rock. And we'll just give it a very quick whack and run it up, and the nail's now punched slightly below the surface, and therefore when you put it in it won't be rocking around. So once again just tap the square, and that's not even moved, so that's absolutely fine. And the next stage is quite simply to get your spacer and to slot it in. As you can see, it's nicely below the surface, not really much movement. And then we do the same with the other one, like so. That's your super complete. Don't rush doing it, because if you rush it you're more likely to make mistakes. Take your time, but hopefully this video will help you to make a much better result.